Okay, hello everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 9 o'clock on a Monday, and we are going to launch our Success Habits Monday. So what we're doing is every Monday at 9 o'clock-ish, I know it was 9:07, Facebook and all the extra stuff, but every Monday at 9 o'clock, we're gonna go over Grant Cardone's 13 Rules of Success. It's something we've implemented in our school, something I've implemented for myself. And I just wanted to share these rules with everyone because they're simple strategies, they make sense, and they make a huge difference. But one that I wanted to talk about first that isn't really on listed as a separate item on Grant's Rules of Success, but is so important as we talk about going after bigger goals and going after dreams, and it's gratitude. Right? It's about learning how to be grateful, but not satisfied. That is the key, because we should be grateful for the success we already have. We should be grateful for all of the wonderful things that we already have in our life. And even if we have to really, 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 really search for something to be grateful for, gratitude is like the spark. It's the spark to start bringing some good things into your life. And we have to really acknowledge where those things are. For me, this really, really, really came into play this past year because I will not take my health for granted like I had in the past. I've had some issues, and I'm having to rebuild and do things that I haven't had to do in a long time physically. And so for me, being grateful that my body is just able to begin recovery is something that I get to be grateful for every day. So I wanted to just mention that gratitude is key, especially if you feel like you're stuck. Especially if you feel like you're stuck and that, that you're having a hard time getting started, just stopping and being grateful is going to help you get there. I'll put a link in the chat here. We have if you're struggling with that, we have a free building your gratitude muscle course that you can go through. It's got everything to get you started and get you thinking and get you motivated to do it. Okay. Now, having said that, what the first rule of success is showing up, right? So you got to show up to be successful. And so what does that even mean? So 90% of all success is related to showing up. And showing up is just really literally what it sounds like: getting up, getting out of bed, getting in the shower, getting dressed, going to work, and being prepared to do the thing that you don't want to do, being prepared to do the next right action, whatever that is. So for me, it's this video. For me, it's committing to this schedule. It's me being so excited about what I'm learning and implementing that I'm willing to commit and do this Facebook Lives, and willing to do the videos and do the webinars and the workshops that we've created, because that is something Ms. Lee Jack will know that I've been talking about doing for a long time, but resisting doing. So I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up here, and I'm going to teach what I'm learning and help you guys implement it too. So that's what it is for me. It's also about putting on the workshops and putting myself out there. We've got that 10x your money workshop coming up on the 30th, and doing that and just putting it out there and getting out there is me showing up and being willing to teach. So what is it for you? Because the mistake that people make is just not doing it, right? We can think it, but not doing it is one of the biggest mistakes that most people make when it comes to this. And we have to remember that we are designed to survive. Like, we're designed to survive. We're designed to put ourselves in situations and trust that we're going to figure it out. Trust that our instincts are going to take over, and trust that we're going to get it done, because you're not going to conquer it if you don't move towards it. If you don't show up, if you don't go to take action, then you're not even going to know what you are capable of. We spend a lot of time talking about that in the martial arts school, and we talk about, going for failure, which is another rule. But we talk about it a lot, but you got to show up. You got to get yourself in the building. You got to put yourself on that phone call. You got to put yourself on that video. You got to put yourself in the position where you have to show up and you have to figure it out. Because if you don't, you're not going to do it. Because if you were going to do it, you do it already, right? So my favorite quote is to go confidently in the direction of your dreams and to live the life that you imagine. And that's a Thoreau quote. And that's one of my favorite because it just talks about taking that first step and not expecting everything to be perfect and not expecting you to be perfect, not expecting the situation to be perfect, not expecting all the results to be perfect, but you just got to go. You got to get on the road. You got to get in the game. You got to step on the mat. You got to put it on the field. Whatever metaphor works for you to get you going, you got to do it. So the one that Grant likes to use is that you can't learn to swim if you don't get in the water. You're not going to learn to ride your bike if you don't get on the bike, right? You've got to get in there. You're not going to be able to learn to swim sitting on the sidelines. So it does require faith. It requires faith in yourself. It requires persistence. It requires persistence because you're going to show up and it's not going to go right. I'll give you another example because I've been showing up and I've been failing. It's okay. We've got that seminar, we've got that workshop, we've got some great things that we want to teach businesses here in Fayetteville. And we were at a local business making a purchase we didn't plan on, and we didn't really have a great customer service experience. And I wanted to go in there and just like show up, and I wanted to say, hey, look, I can help you with this. So I did. And it went well in that I left with another name and number. It didn't go well in the fact that like I showed up, but I could have prepared a little bit more. I could have like practiced it a little bit more, but you know what? I showed up, I did it anyway. I got the number to the next person up there. And when I talk to them, I will have it ready and it'll be better. And then I'm going to show up again. And then I'm going to keep showing up with him until I get to help them, because I know that I can help them have their customers have a better experience. But just be willing to fail. All right. Now, when you do this, when you show up and you persist, and then you get up and you persist and you get up and persist, it requires the faith, it's got the persistence, but you also are building a discipline. And you also are building a resilience, right? Because every time you fail and get back up, it gets easier. Every time you put yourself out there and then you get that win, it gets better. So the more you fail, the more you showed up, the more you show up, the more success you're going to have. It's a simple formula. It's a simple formula, but showing up is key. Getting up is key. Persistence is key. And the only way, like that example for that business, is the only way it's truly a failure is if I don't learn from it and I don't take action. Right? And that's the only way it's truly a failure. So the only way you can truly fail is to not learn from it and to not get up and do it again and just do it a little bit better, to not learn from your mistakes. So the greatest sin that we all have in our lives, in our community, in our business, whatever we do, is just not showing up and bringing everything that we are, all of our potential, all of our skills, all of our abilities to what we're doing, what we're getting done. We watched that movie, No, I'm Nobody. I think it's called Nobody. And the guy was just kind of going through the paces. That's where we get stuck when we don't show up. We're just like existing and we're not living and growing and doing what we're meant to do as human beings, right? So when you don't make the move, you're going to stagnate. If you're just going through the motions, you're stagnant. You're not excited. You're not excited. Your family's not excited. Your life isn't exciting, right? We always want more. We want more. We want more. That's what happens when we don't show up. But when you do show up, you're going to get motivated, and then you're going to do more because it feels really good. And so you get into that cycle of showing up, getting motivated, showing up, getting motivated. And then you got momentum, and then you have energy, and then you have a little excitement, and then that catches on. Like I said, that little, like, gratitude is the spark to get the fire going. That kind of energy gets the spark on all the people around you to get going too. So a lot of us spend time planning and organizing and getting ready to do something instead of just taking that action. And like I said, I've been talking about doing videos like this for longer than I care to admit and confess, right? I've been planning, or what do I say? What do I do? What is the schedule? What's going to work? What's going to work for other people? What's going to work for me, right? I got stuck right in that place instead of just picking a time, getting a topic, and getting it done. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look, I've got my notes. I did plan. I did plan for this. I'm not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Because I do want to deliver something. I want to deliver in a way that makes sense to you. But I said I made a promise to myself I was no longer going to get stuck in the planning. All right. So when you get stuck in the planning and when you over prepare, you're going to lose your spontaneity. You're going to lose what your natural instincts, and you're going to lose that ability to let your natural gifts come out. So that's what taking action and just going for it allows you to show you and to be you and be the person that you were supposed to be in this world. So that's what really cool. So I want to use another example when I showed up. So I told you guys in the beginning, I've been struggling a little physically. So working out has been a challenge because I'm rebuilding a lot of my muscle and things like that. But I finally said, I committed in July. I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to go to master's training. I'm going to go to master's training, whether my body wants to or not. I'm just going to show up. I'm just going to go. I'm going to do what I can do. And then I'll just let Quantum know this is as far as I can go. Now, what happened? I showed up last week to master's training, and master's training is always good. No, I couldn't do everything I wanted to do. But what did happen was a conversation between me and my grandmaster creating a training for my students that we put on the calendar, set a date. I've already been able to announce it to my students, but that wouldn't have happened if I didn't show up. And why is that so great? Well, it's great because I get to do the training with my students, and I don't always get to train. Most of the time I'm teaching. So being able to train is amazing. And then two, being able to give my students access to my grandmaster gives them access to a level of knowledge they don't normally get to. As masters, we get to go to an annual training where we get next level knowledge. And so this allows me to provide that for my students. And none of that would have happened in the time frame that it did if I didn't just show up. Now it's got me excited because now I'm not going to show up to Udanja and not be ready physically. So it gives me a little bit more spark, a little bit more inspiration to push myself a little bit more. It gives my students even more of a spark because they got to maintain their training level to be invited to come to this training. So that's what can happen when you show up. So show up in life, show up in work, show up everywhere you can. That's the whole thing, because nothing's going to matter. It's not going to matter how great you are. It's not going to matter how well you speak. It's not going to matter how good you are at your job. It's not going to matter what kind of product you have or service you have, because if you don't show up and you don't make it your mission to tell everybody, no one's going to know. And then you're hiding your lighter in a bushel. You're keeping it for yourself, and the whole world doesn't get to experience and benefit from it. And that's really what we want to do. So the last analogy that Grant uses, it says, you cannot win the lottery if you do not buy the ticket. So let's figure out how to buy a ticket. So what I want you to do right now, wherever you are, however you're listening, if you're driving, I want you to think about it. If you're not driving, I want you to write it down. I want you to make a list of where you need to show up. Okay. And so where the good place to start of this is, where do you find yourself spending more time planning and organizing and not doing? Where do you find yourself introverting a little bit? Where do you find yourself procrastinating? Where do you find yourself in your life? You're taking more steps to think about it and plan it than you are to actually do it instead of taking action. Okay. So that's where I want you to start. Like, list it all. Don't judge your list. Just make the list. Don't judge it. Just make it. Right. If you want to make changes and you want to do some things and you're not happy where you are and you need to show up, then just make the list without judging it. All right. And then from that list, I want you to make sure that you don't judge it. And then you don't let the fear of failing or act like, look at the list and act like because you have that list, it is a failure. Don't let the fear of failing or the thought of failing stop you from making the list, number one. And then two, don't let it stop you from picking something on that list and showing up. Whatever it is, it could be exercise, it could be diet, it could be work, it could be family, it could be relationships, it could be anything, because our lives are more than just one thing. Sometimes we make it about one thing, but our lives are more than one thing. And so where can you show up better today? Okay, that's what I want you to do. I want you to make your list. I want you to take an action today on something from that list. Whatever it is, I would like you to share it with me on Facebook and let me know what you did, what the result was. You can DM us if you want to, but let's share that information with us and show up for yourself, for your family, for your job, for your community, wherever it is. Now, we're doing the 10x how to guarantee you 10x your money workshop on the 30th. We go over more things like this. So if you'd like to join us, for that workshop, I'll put the link in the comments as well. It's a one-day workshop. It's in person and virtual. We're going to go over things like this, how to do it, what to do, and how to implement in your life to make the biggest impact and guarantee that you 10x your money. So that's what we're doing. It's guarantee 10x your money, bit.ly/guarantee 10x your money. The link for the gratitude challenge will be in the comments. I'll make sure I get that done. And I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have questions, let us know. I look forward to talking to you on Wednesday. We're going to talk about how to stay motivated. We're going to do success habit on Monday, how to stay motivated on Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to talk about selling. We're going to get you crunked to get over the weekend to take some action and sell. So I'm glad you joined me. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday.